we begin our talk on the three battles that rage in the minds and hearts of men. I called it World War I, World War II, World War III. World War I was really a clash of the old world with the new world. And World War II, with Hitler at the helm of it, was a reaction to the wounds of the last war. World War III is yet to come. So we will look at these statements that were made at the very beginning when war began in the hearts of men. So Field Marshal Montgomery said, wars begin in the hearts of men. He also said, if you want peace, prepare for war. You may not agree with his statement, but that's what he said at the end of World War II. So what are the three wars going on? First one is, I am afraid. Where does this come from? I am afraid. So this is Christmas time. There were 5 characters who were directly involved in that story. Mary was afraid because the task looked too big. Joseph was afraid because his reputation was at stake. Zechariah was afraid that there might be disappointment and the promise may be broken. Shepherds were afraid because something they have never experienced before, too big for them. In their little world, they were in charge and there was change coming. In charge and change coming. Then Herod, the big king, was afraid that a little baby is threatening his terrain or reign. So we go to the next one. When it all began, fear came as they disconnected at the very beginning in mistrust and suspicion. Instead of love and trust, mistrust and suspicion arose. They lost the fatherly covering, fatherly belonging they felt. Burl ceased to be a family. Burl suddenly became our first ancestors. Their world suddenly became a playground or a ground of power play. They did not know to whom their allegiance was due. The one that did all the good for them was now good enough. So love and trust were broken, and they were wondering now, whom do we trust? So if a child has to keep thinking, whom does he trust? If there's rift between mom and dad, this comes into the battle begins at home itself. Whom do I belong to? Where is my security coming? Who gives me, what is my identity, which comes from not my achievements, from my belonging? Achievements come later. They could not trust God to be all good because suspicion had entered their mind. There was mistrust and accusation. As you begin to accuse your benefactor, you accuse each other. Something inside you becomes very fragile. Nothing more is certain, and loyalty is gone. You don't know who cares for you, who will be faithful to you. Integrity becomes disintegrated. This mistrust and accusation will spread to other relationships. It spreads inside you. You can't trust yourself. You can't trust your thoughts. You can't trust your emotions. You become schizophrenic, or inside you, there are battles going on. You can't judge for yourself whether you are thinking the best for yourself. So this mistrusting someone else is reflected inside you. I don't know whether this I'm taking good enough, whether it's my best. Their resources looked meager as they were overwhelmed by the demand exceeded their need. Anxiety threatened. They were in that situation. Then what did they do? Then became battle number 2. Whoever gets at us will hurt us. That's how they began to look at the world. They looked at each other with suspicion. They felt naked. They felt violated. It was a terrible sense of wounded, lost much. So when we lose much, what have we lost? We have lost our sense of progress. We don't know where we are headed. And we have lost our direction. We have lost what we had once. We have lost that. We don't know how much is enough. We don't know what is good, who wishes us well, who wishes us evil. We feel vulnerable. Everybody is out to grab from me. That's the feeling of vulnerability. I feel denuded. Then we have to always guard everything we have, and whatever we have is not enough. Inside us is speaking, not enough. So we have to keep value adding, worth adding, guarding very jealously whatever we have. And then we also get jealous of others because they have more than us. Exposed, vulnerable, wounded, lost their covering and their dignity. They did not know when the next injury will come. That's how they felt. And all this can happen to a child in a troubled home, a child violated also. As I said in my last talk, till about the age of 8, there is a childhood innocence. Children believe the best about parents. But after that, they begin to mark, this was wrong, that was wrong. And by the time the child is 12, there's a real judge at home, and he thinks he's judge of all. Of course, this doesn't have to be when parents have been close to the children, protecting them, loving them, working with them, speaking to them, reading with them. Children must have parents all the time interacting. The most time-wise interaction must be not with the screen, must be not even with school or hobby. Time-wise interaction must be mostly with parents, heart to heart, eyeball to eyeball. Otherwise, they feel violated, innocent no more, abused by lies and different things. So having eaten from this tree of try and see, today the digital screen is one of the most potent try and see trees from which children are made to eat. Then they have to try and see. They can't believe someone else for it. Their value structure is gone. They want to try and see. They will also test you and see. Children set up tests for parents. And if you get angry, you fail the test. You fail the test. You have to somehow hold on to their trust and help them to see that all of life is not an exam. So don't set up an exam for children where they have to perform or perish, where they have to swim or sink, because this tree of knowledge has got into them. They always think in opposites. They expect evil and see evil. And this goes on if you don't attend on the child. He is now passing 14. He's believing the screen, believing the peers, and not believing parents at all. So all the bonhomie and relationship you have to make before the age of 14. Please, parent, I plead with you, that time will never return. So before the age of 14, please do all you can with your children so that they grow deep roots into your advice, into your heart, into relationships. Those roots will serve them for life, because when roots are sent into the right places of parental affection, parental trust, parental assessment, affirmation, approval, accreditation, it's another kind of Fitch rating. When their roots are in those, then their trunk will be steady and they'll branch out, and they'll continue to branch out in every season. And they will grow tall, and they will learn when a branch meets an obstruction, a wall, they learn to grow tall and overcome the obstruction. Otherwise, children go head knocking on the obstruction, or else they curl down and say, I can't do it anymore. So children have this language, I don't care, who cares? And they either go very hostile against it, or some children who have been wounded, they retreat. They can't face up to any of the obstacles that come their way. So I need to backtrack a little and do a subject I have done before. I'm Dr. Lalith Mendis. My trained field is pharmacology. I was head of Department of Pharmacology in the State Medical Faculty. This is my 298th clip on this kind of subject, but I have done lectured extensively on the digital screen and its effects on curriculum and character. Please, if you need those clips, let us know. Our WhatsApp number for that purpose is 076 313 4800. Also, 076 313 4800. I have an app for downloading, which is free of cost, Golden Nuggets. You can get it from Google or from WhatsApp or from Apple Store, Golden Nuggets. So this is the second battle that goes on to protect our vulnerability, protect what others may rob from us. So world has become hostile and you are in a increasingly set boundaries and you're in a receding territory. You begin to feel that space is less, time is catching up, kind of. Then the child is set up for fright, flight, and fight. I've explained this before. A child, or adult for that matter, should live with prefrontal cortex thinking, executive, empathic, initiation, the fresh thing, the creative thing, creative navigation, successful conclusion, and good reward. I look at what I have done. I say good reward. So the initiation, navigation, in conclusion is what dopamine does to work to salience. And after that, there's a check back. How did I do it? How can I improve it? That's done by serotonin, the neurochemical transmitter. Some call it the happy hormone, but it's actually a neurochemical transmitter. It helps us to look at our work with satisfaction, but yet ask the question, how do I improve? Of course, man is not only neurochemicals. All this begins in man's spirit, which bears the image of the good shepherd. So the image of the good shepherd is more opportunity, more room, improvement, more potential. So that's how the uninjured spirit works. When spirit suffers injury, you go, no room. Last thing was also horrible. Next time also I'll be obstructed. So that is bottom-up regulation. Top-down is always there's room for more. There's a next door, next opportunity, another reward. That's how top-down regulation, executive, empathic thinks and plans. But when injury has happened, as you know, injury and bitterness speaks louder than success and sweetness. That's how the brain is wired. So when injury has happened, pain speaks loud. So what you do is always invoke what went wrong. That's through the amygdala, hippocampus, and hypothalamus. The last bad thing drives you to the next hour. So it's called bottom-up regulation because your RAM memory is full of all that kind of what went wrong. So your expectation is also what more will go wrong. This can be healed up because our spirit is resilient, because God interacts with our spirit. That's God's gift to mankind. But our soul, our conscience, our mind, our emotions have quite strong wounds because they are not as resilient as our spirit. So if you allow your mind and soul emotions to overrule you, your spirit's potential goes down. Spirit is how God helps us to keep processing and hope for the best. Hope, old saying is hope springs eternal in the human spirit, which is true. Hope gives another solution. Hope takes another hope. Hope takes another chance. Otherwise, you give up and say, no point, or you'll be very hostile. I told you, when a tree is growing, branches go this way. Branches, your endeavors may meet a wall, obstruction for whatever reason. Then we learn to grow up a little more and shoot your branch over the wall. When you have a mindset for executive, empathic, creative, reflective thinking. But when you have gone bottom up, you think the same thing is going to happen again and again, and you repeat your mistakes as if others can see that this one is going to again have a bad experience. This happens to people in marriage, where marriage is meant to be lifelong, not an experiment to suddenly try. Now they are saying the average of marriage is 8 years, which is very unfortunate. God designed marriage for lifelong. So this is, I took a little time on battle number 2 because lots of battle rages in this area of vulnerable, value, worth, my defense. I have to fight for myself. Then we come to the next, my solutions for my problems. So when we are afraid, religious rituals to make me belong, get me back to favor, somehow curry favor from what I can do or what I can offer. Because of what hard to please, God needs appeasement, patch up, trying to get vertical relationships back to favor, work hard for the boss or prove yourself by working. And you feel you will get a permanent slot in the establishment if you prove yourself enough. Unfortunately, in homes where there is conflict, child also can feel like that. I had to prove myself. Always he will come and say, this is all right, and ask for approval. So in the first years of life, first 3 years really, mom makes it for bonding, for affection and intimacy. It's with the mom, the child establishes that, and the dad establishes the next stretch and the next step. So when the toddler is trying to toddle around, you help him get up. You carry him on your shoulders and you put him from the tricycle to the bicycle. You put him. So dad gives affirmation and competence in the little things a little fellow is getting competent about. So dad plans every day a step and a stretch for the growing child. That's how children get up in life. So they need mom for internal affiliation, integration, intimacy, bonding. And this happens from the mother's womb. And dad gives that external ability to be competent, take the boundaries, he sets up the boundaries, and then he helps the child to conquer the boundaries. So then when I'm facing this I am naked problem, I'm vulnerable, my birth was denuded, we keep value adding because dignity is damaged. We try to acquire clothes, items, vehicles, whatever, degrees, good deeds, all to look better in the eyes of others, horizontally to look better, or you feel it's too much trouble, some people begin to feel, then they say, who cares? And they get into rebellious vengeance of hurting themselves in sexual profligacy and things like that, alcohol addictions, all come because of this feeling of, if I can't, since my birth, I can't add anymore, I might as well destroy myself. So at this point, how glad tidings come. Good, it is good news of great joy for all. And it addresses the primary problem. Each one was told, don't be afraid of not being able to match up to the expectation you have in your heart according to the potential God put there. So here is the expectation. And here is the reality. Between the two, when expectation doesn't match your own reality, between the two, you have hurt, you have humiliation, you have fear, then you move to hate. I hate the system, I hate that person, and the thing on. And bad things repetitively, seemingly happen. So we need to close this gap. This is where the Good Shepherd came and said, he has his favor free of charge. Your best potential is not lost. He's waiting to catch up with you. He said he's the Good Shepherd, and when you know him, you will want no more. You will have just quite enough for yourself. That's the offer he has. Otherwise, our battle constantly is, someone denuded me, someone robbed me. I don't know whether I have enough or not. I don't know where to get what I want. I don't know how much is enough. It goes on. So then we come to battle number 3, which, though I mentioned last, when we are older, this battle goes on all the time. Other two are more day-to-day struggle battles. This one is my future, my potential, and my height. In that first story, they said, I hid myself. Isolation, closed-up spirit, reacting to external threat, ignoring internal calamity, no confidence. I can't see any way how I might grow tall. I only see my present limitation. There's a ceiling. And this is a real feeling. What happened to my dad may happen to me. I know a gentleman who's in a very good position. His dad lost his job at the age of 40 years. So he couldn't pursue the career he meant to pursue. And then he came to the age of 40. He was doing reasonably well, but he had a big argument with his chairman that day. And he felt, and the chairman said, you'll amount to nothing and nasty things. And he felt very, very low down. But that day, he met the Good Shepherd who gave him hope. And he understood the Good Shepherd has said, I am a good shepherd, you will not want. I have a green pasture for you. I have space for you. I have time for you. I have steps for you. He heard that. And today, now he is the CEO of that same company because the Good Shepherd didn't let him down. So I hid myself. Fix the inside or at the cubits. That's the challenge. My issue is I need to grow from my inside. My bones are brittle in the inside. My character has gnarled because of the relationships. Now, by adding taller shoes, I may look tall, but actually I'm not growing tall. I had to grow tall in the inside, grow up with what the Good Shepherd provides me. Or else I can insulate my pain. Unavailable to anybody. Real me is bandaged inside a tomb, walled up, show nobody my need. Wounds are caked with perfumed stuff, but stuff. You are inside small. You are in a stronghold of little confidence and you are trying hard to guard that. But the Good Shepherd promises you more. That's where we come to the next one. Good Shepherd, visualize the next room God has for you. That is where I want to take you. Visualize your next room. What is your potential? Can you see a little bit at your potential? Your direction of progress. Can you? So the next room. Visualize the next room the Good Shepherd has for you. The Good Shepherd has for you. Your potential. The direction of your progress. How much is enough? Your table. Whom do you want in your room and at your table? So when Good Shepherd says, I am your Good Shepherd, I have a green patch for you, I have water for you, the next resources, I appoint your table. That means my position in life, people in relationship with me, and also my portion in life, my place, my position, people, and my portion. He is able to attend on all these three. When we have doubt on these things, what happened is we get anxious. Anxiety arises when you perceive something or someone is limiting you, violating your rights. Anxiety begins at the limit of your set boundary, whatever circumstances that came at you. Set boundary comes from conscious or unconscious past experience. Many unpleasant experiences will lower your threshold and increase your reaction. Anxiety in one area spread to others. This is why whenever you are anxious, visualize the next room you would like to have. Now, in your mind is full of your present room. There is fear, there is pride, there is prejudice. It's limited. Some areas may be chaotic and messy and you never touch that cupboard where it has all kinds of old things in your life. Now, this may be a real cupboard in your home, in your room, or it may be an imaginary cupboard in your life, which you don't want to touch. But I'm encouraging you to visualize the next room God has for you, your potential, your direction of progress. How much is enough? How would you like to rearrange your room? As for me, I always like an easy chair to sit across with big arms. And then I put a board across it and I keep my laptop or book I'm reading and writing, or typing into, that's one important thing for me, the study and the research. So I have a large chair, quite spacious and quite comfortable. I can fall asleep on it. I can take a meal on it. So I'm encouraging you to visualize the next room God has for you. Because what anxiety does is boxes you in to a stronghold of small confidence. Only few little things you can do. Anybody else coming near that, you feel challenged and threatened, and your anxiety level goes up. You may infect others also with anxiety. So home can get charged with anxiety. Children will feel that anxiety, and then children will feel the anxiety, and also your spouse will feel the anxiety. Anxiety is not a place people can grow. Anxiety is an atmosphere in people shrink. Anxiety has a weight. What anxiety does is it makes you to curl up into poor little me. So assess the anxiety. Anxiety, if I write an equation, it means perceived demands outweigh the supply, your resources. So how do you handle anxiety? Put down the sense of demand. Increase your social skills. Increase your improve your emotional skills. If necessary, improve your IQ and knowledge level also, the CAST, the character, attitude, skill, and knowledge, CASK. Worry doesn't empty tomorrow of its sorrows. It empties today of its strength. You have heard that before. So this is imagining, visualizing the next room the Good Shepherd has for you. It's a good table. He has made your cup and your cup runs over. He says he'll touch your head and send his blessing from above. This is the Christmas story. So good tidings, the Greek word is euanglion, good message, good news. And what it does for you is give you a good record, a good report. The Greek is eudokia. Inside of you, you speak well of yourself. That's the most important recognition. I'll repeat it. Inside of you, you report. You hear a good report. Your inside report changes. Yes. This is what we like to have, a good report coming from our inside. I hope this little talk helps you. There are many other reasons for anxiety. Some reasons for anxiety are understandable, handleable. So let's equip ourselves to handle all changing seasons of life. So my next talk, I'll get on to anxiety. Today, I wanted you to identify the three battles you're waging: the fear battle, the vulnerability battle, and then the significance battle. Who takes note of me? How much will my life be worth? The potential. Nothing is lost in your potential. A great restoration is possible. He said that Good Shepherd said, I can restore you. I can restore you, and I'll show you the path of restoration. That is why we have a Good Shepherd. So these are the three things I handle, the three battles: the fear battle, the worth battle, and the potential battle. We'll meet again next Saturday at 3 p.m. Today I did it a little early, and we will, tomorrow at 3 p.m., I will do the Sinhala version of this. Thank you for listening. Please remember, any clips you want, please send it to, any requests for clips on any of the subjects I have done, please send it to 076-313-4800. Please pass these clips on because they can help many people. And my app is Golden Nuggets. It can be downloaded free of cost from Google or from App Store. Thank you for listening. And may I invite you for our carol service today at 6 p.m. At 6 p.m. Kids and adults will get together for a great celebration. If you like, be part of it. Send your WhatsApp number. We can send you the link. Thank you for listening.